symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
What's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back with you one more time. Nitro Nick is here from Orlando, Florida. Slopester's here from just outside of Flint, Michigan, and we are here to talk about Way Over the Puddle, another PLE, they call them nowadays, from overseas, from Europe. It is Bash in Berlin. Dude, this is hard to believe. And we weren't even watching WWE, Nick, when this happened. If you listen to Vince Russo, this was the night that Vince McMahon threw down the gauntlet. The dual show on Raw, half of it was in Berlin, half of it was in America. That's the last time WWE has done a televised event from Germany. 27 years. Very hard to believe. They did SmackDown the night before and then this pay-per-view. So they're back and they're as hot as ever. And especially in Europe, we've seen it all year and going back to last year. Once again, a sold-out show, Bash in Berlin, and their boy, the Austrian, whose hometown is I guess adopted hometown is Berlin. Gunther on top. As always, Nick, thumbs up, thumbs down, A through F. What do you got, man? What do you give the show?
I can't do much more than a 3, Ryan. The matches are great.
Out of 5?
Yeah.
Or 10?
Out of 5.
Okay,
Out of 5.
okay.
You know, just like in the, again, would you go back and watch this again? I don't think so. I don't know that there's much on here. Was it a stinker? No, I thought the matches delivered. I mean, the wrestling was good. But, Ryan, even when they say the wrestling's good, you're in the same boat as me. Me and you have seen Savage, Michaels, Hart, Angle, Mysterio in his prime.
Every good guy ever.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've seen good wrestling. I'd like some good angles, you know, like and something, you know, some good stories. I thought overall the stories were kind of weak going into this card.
Yeah.
But it was rough too going up against week 1 college football after week 0. You know, I'm sitting there watching this going.
And there was good matchups too.
Yeah,
we had top 25 matchups. Yeah.
And I'm thinking I would rather be watching, you know, it took everything to get through it. I'm glad I have 2 screens in my room.
Clemson was playing Georgia at the same time as this pay-per-view.
And that game, you know, good thing it got out of hand at the end because I kind of faded back into the pay-per-view, you know, or the PLE, if you will. But, yeah, it was a good show if you like wrestling. I don't think we found out much or I don't think there was much shocking anything that happened.
No. Well, Nick, we're doing this about maybe 24 hours late, give or take, because same thing. I went to the Detroit Tigers 1984 40th reunion of the World Series champions. So I was watching the whole way down on my phone. I had it. So yeah, I was watching. I watched about the first half. Then we took off to go down there because they had a big reunion thing at 4:00 in the afternoon. So you had to get down there early for a 6:00 game. So, you know, I was watching, but I kind of wasn't. So yes, there was a million other things going on. I thought this pay-per-view was similar to SummerSlam.
Summerfest.
Here's the difference. The storylines for SummerSlam were very strong. And that's what you said. You're like, the storylines were like, It seems like we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now. You know, Cody against KO. It's like, okay, is he going to turn? And they tried to make it. And I think they did a good job. Is he going to turn? Is he going to turn? But I think everybody knew he wasn't. And that was really the biggest storyline. There weren't a lot going on here. SummerSlam. But here's where I think the similarities are. SummerSlam, we were like, well, he's going to turn and he's going to turn and that's going to happen and that's going to happen. We knew what was going to happen, but it was storyline based and it made sense. We also knew what was going to happen here, but it was just match based. It was like, oh, he's going to win and he's going to win. And so it was a very predictable show. I do think it was a good show. I'm not going to give it an A or anything, but I do think the matches were good. It was entertaining for what it was, but I think it was just like, all right, well, here we go. We're in another foreign country. Here we go. Interesting. I think most of us thought, because it's Gunther's adoptive hometown, even though he's from Austria, right next door, Berlin, Germany. He was going to be the main event. So then what do you do with Cody, who is, the sacred cow, What do you do with him? Well, you open the show with him. So they open the show, Nick, with Cody against KO. What do you got to say about it? Obviously, Cody wins. Do you have anything big to say about this? And I'll say whatever else. I'll fill in the gaps here.
I guess a little bit more than I was shocked. The fans were pretty split.
Yeah,
a lot of
they
KO
like KO.
chants. Yeah, man.
But,
I was
once
shocked
again,
on
though,
that.
Nick, it is, even though they were leaning KO heel, it was face, and that's what you get. And especially overseas.
Kevin Owens is hot, yes, and he's big in Canada, obviously, for whatever reasons. And yeah, he is big overseas as well. I didn't like announcers kept selling Owens not winning a singles title in 7 years. I get when you sell that, but if you're selling that, he's got to win, because then it just seems like, you're selling this. I do think a heel turn is coming because of this. That's
what I was going to say. Do you think they're doing that because maybe not the first day? And then talk about more of the match.
KO
more of the match may tell you that a heel turn is coming.
Yes. He went the Roddy Piper way where
I was nice once.
If I would have hit these moves or whatever, the power bomb on the apron. I think there was another one outside. He was going to, had I hit these, I'd have beat you.
Yes.
And I think that's where they're going to go with it. And,
I still don't think he's going to win in the end.
But Ryan, I'm looking weak because it seems SummerSlams, I got a little confused myself. I don't know if anybody, SummerSlam usually up in the last couple of years was in August, later August. We still got to fill September, October, November, December before we even start talking about the Rumble. So I assume these two guys are going to fight again.
You would think it Bad Blood or,
there it is, Bad Blood, the name. They're going to try to do there would be bad blood between these two, so.
Good call.
Yeah, I think it was a good match overall.
A
lot of kickouts of finish. I mean, it was a lot of Undertaker Michaels as far as guys kicking out of finishing. But, I guess you got to take it with you will, because that's the way it is now. I mean,
I'll get more into the storyline of it, but yes, that was my big takeaway. KO hit a stunner, kicked out of it. Then Cody hit two, apparently now because of Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero. Everybody's got to hit their move 3 times now if you have some kind of rolling thing. Well, 2's not good enough, because when Jordan dunks on you at the buzzer, he's got to do it 3 times, brother. Yeah. No, once. So he kicked out of 2 crossroads, then kicked out of 2 stunners. I did not like that whatsoever. Anybody that knows us knows, no, you protect your finish. That's why it's called the finish. And you don't kick out of 2 of them on some random pay-per-view. So I did not like that at all. And then Cody finally hit the 3rd one and got it. But just more on the match in general. Yeah, they were both over. I thought the same thing. They kept talking about first singles title in 7 years. I'm like, all right, does that mean he's going to turn? And then afterward, he didn't turn. No. He didn't buckle bomb him or whatever you call it on the side of the ring apron. He didn't do that. And then he didn't go after the knee at first. Remember, they were selling some kind of knee injury. Didn't go for it at first. So I was thinking, okay, eventually he's going to turn here. But my biggest takeaway after all that, can we get into the fans a little bit again? Because once again, we're talking about how crazy the fans were and everything. They were crazy, right? It was insane. But we talked about it on, I believe, the France pay-per-view. We talked about this. And not everybody watches. And I never watched until I had to for my job, where we were covering the Premier League. We were covering La Liga and all this. We've always heard about the Spanish or whoever Dublin soccer hooligans. This is what they do. They go to these games and they chant and they chant and they chant. That is their culture. And everybody's sitting there going, oh my gosh, what an amazing crowd. Well, they are. But to them, they're just doing normal things. So this isn't abnormal to them to be chanting constantly. Now, to us, yeah, we don't do that all the time. Now take it the other way, Nick. What did we always hear what happened in Japan? They were quiet.
Yes, they're very quiet.
Their culture was to do nothing, to sit there. And you heard everybody, all the big guys that went over to Japan back in the day.
Yeah.
We were like, well, it's different. You got to work harder because you don't know, or do they care? No, that's just their culture to be quiet. Well, their culture is to sing a bunch of songs all the time. So I keep hearing, oh, they're so hot, and they are hot because they're selling out. I'm sick of this whole, they're trying to one up them. They're trying to do this. No, that's just what they do. They get there and they chant and they chant and they sing.
Yeah. Ryan, I don't hope I don't sound to me it hurts the match. It really, because there's not the high and low of the impact, because there's just constant
because they
noise.
do it regardless.
Yes, there's just whereas obviously if you're in Japan, it's the exact opposite. Like, come on, guys, like he just nailed him, cheer, or something.
Yeah,
I get, but we have to get over it. Not our culture, but I do.
I'm fine with it, Nick. I'm fine with it. I just don't want to hear, oh, listen to how hot they are. It could have been Barry Horowitz against Doink,
I'm a little bit
and
over.
they do it.
Yeah,
they would
I'm
do
just
it.
a little bit over, Ryan. I feel it's almost, and I get it at a soccer game, at a sporting event, but man, I got announcers I'm trying to hear. I just like to go, I know, and it's not, again, it's just clash of different ideals and cultures and things, but it's not, it seems like they're trying to be part of the show to me. And it's one,
yeah.
I've always said that over here.
Well, that's the chance in America. I think they're trying to be
there as well.
The American culture thinks these people are doing the same. No, they do this anyway. This is just what they do.
I just like the, I when I'm watching the WWE, it's more like you're at the theater or the opera versus, to me, like a Monday Night Football game. I need to hear the angles. I need to hear people talk. I like to hear the up and rise and all that. I don't know. It's just me.
You feel like you're at the theater or the opera.
Well, you are kind of right, aren't you?
I'm not going to say exactly what happened, but I do remember one time 25 years ago, somebody, one of my friends, I'm not sure who.
No, you could cheer and have a good time.
I'm not sure which one it was. Might have possibly got threatened by some Marines one time.
Oh, yeah, they were booing, but
theater or opera.
But again,
that might be a little extreme.
Booing
Booing
on the intro or extro. After
outro, yeah, I got
outro. Like I get that you're gonna be loud, man, but I don't know. I just like hearing the flow of the match, the moves when the fans boo.
Yeah, I do agree.
Cheer.
I do agree.
I don't know. It just sets something for me,
Yep, no doubt.
But it was good. It was a good match.
It was a really good match, man. It was a very good match.
Awesome.
Non-stop action. The end did kind of bother me though because of the kicking out of finishes.
How is his move off the top ropes not a finisher? That Ghostbuster off the top rope.
The turning, spinning thing. We've said that for years.
I don't understand how that's not a finishing move.
Right.
Like that is, I don't even know why no one does Coco's Ghostbuster. I always thought the Ghostbuster
because they'll probably kill somebody too.
I guess that, yeah, maybe just make sure you do it right. But yeah, I love the Ghostbuster, man. But yeah, Kevin Owens, I mean, to my knowledge, I don't know if he's hurt anybody, but that's a sick move.
And Frankie is obviously concerned.
He was always concerned.
Okay, so that was one of the better matches of the night. I think, there's only 5 matches on this pay-per-view, some good, some bad, or not even bad, just like maybe seemed like a Raw, maybe, or a SmackDown. I think this is one that seemed like a Raw or a SmackDown. It's the Women's Tag Team Championship. Jade and Bianca, who lost in a triple threat taking on Isla Dawn and Jessica Alba or whatever her name is. Nobody cares because nobody knows. They just brought them in. These ladies literally just won the belt because of another pay-per-view that was in Scotland, where they're from. So they won the belt, which is fine, whatever, but they win it out of nowhere. They beat the female Road Warriors. Well, the female Road Warriors got it back. I didn't think this match was bad or anything. I just didn't. I thought if any title was going to change, this was going to be the one, and it did. And I really have nothing here, Nick.
Jade's getting a little better, little by little. I think she's going to take time, but
she's the hot tag. She's the hot tag.
Yeah,
you bring her in and she cleans house.
I guess the story was they didn't pin him or something in Berlin.
Yeah, the other team. It was a triple threat.
In Ireland. Yeah, so that wasn't much a story. And again, I'm just with you. You can't just bring these. Dawn and Fire might be good workers. They might. I don't know. I just don't know. I had to look up their names when I was writing down the matches here. I'm like, who the heck are these?
Jessica Alba.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. Hopefully Jade and Bianca run now for a little while. Before I assume they're going to clash at Mania. It's got to be right.
They got asked in the post game. Somebody asked them, two big strong women, how long can you stay together? And they were both like, we don't know how to answer that. Like they knew something was coming.
WrestleMania.
They knew. I do have one thing to say about this, and it's about Jade, which I love Jade. I liked her in AEW. They got to figure that out. There is something missing there. They are not as good as I thought they would be. They aren't what I thought they'd be. I still like them, and you know me, man, I love Bianca. Bianca, I think, may be the greatest woman of all time. So, I think she's better in Charlotte. She's better in Charlotte.
Oh, I would take her over Charlotte too. She can do more than Charlotte.
I think she's the greatest woman ever, but something's missing there, and they got to figure that out.
I'm with you, and Jade's just got. I think the tag thing. We still got months. And I think you getting, because you had told me like AEW is not doing house shows all over the United States.
They're not doing any, not one.
You can see that's why I think this is helping. I mean, it's small. Like I don't know if people. I'm not saying guys she's ready to go 1-on-1 with Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, Macho, Becky, Charlotte Flair, but it just. She's getting better.
She said it today, Nick. She's
getting better.
She goes, I've been working for a week straight. She goes, I just did more because they did a whole tour in Germany. She goes, I just did more matches in 1 week than I've ever done. And she did like 4. She did like 4. So
right, how do you get better at these moves? Like you do them over and over again. Like
we know
how
that.
You get better. Like
anybody that knows the business, that's what you did. And they would do it back in the day, like WrestleMania 3, whatever. Well, guess what? Those guys, a lot of them, other than Hogan and Andre, were doing that match all around the country already.
And that's why
perfecting it off camera. So then when it got on camera, it was ready to go.
And it's easier. It's safer for everybody. You're running it. You're working with this person. It's almost like a quarterback and a wide receiver. You know what they're going to do before they break.
His tendencies. Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad. And, let's just hope she keeps getting better.
Yep. No doubt. Okay. So maybe the biggest match of the night, Punk against Drew. It's a strap match. Obviously this feud was fire until SummerSlam. I think it turned some people off. I know it definitely did me. I think it's a polarizing match.
Yes.
So it's a strap match, and I've never seen a strap match. I could be wrong, with lights in the corners. When one guy hit the corner, a light lit up.
Could have been.
So I've never seen anything like that. I was shocked by this match. I think it was a very good match. Probably the match of the night for me. I thought it was great. The finish I did not expect, though, Nick. Shocked. Didn't think
they murdered him
because we all expect them to fight again, right?
Right.
And I figured Drew would win again, and then Punk would win the blow-off.
Closed out,
maybe in Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood.
Right.
Wasn't expecting this. And then the way they did it, he GTS'd him before he touched you have to hit all 4 turnbuckles to win. GTS, turnbuckle, GTS. I thought, and then he looked at the wristband. I thought he would get distracted by the wristband.
Me too.
And then he'd get smoked, and then boop, 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 boop.
Because that
didn't happen. He won clean. He won clean as a whistle.
I thought that was the way out of this stupid wristband. Is it cost him?
Yes.
He finally has realized, I have my wife and dog at home. They can get me another wristband. Whatever. He's realized.
Or maybe he even got it, but it still cost him the match.
Right. But then he still walks away with a win because he got his band back, or whatever. Same as you. The lights were weird for me, Ryan, for a big different reason. The inconsistency on the time when you're touching each turnbuckle. I mean, that last touch of the turnbuckle, it was like 30 seconds or something before
before it timed out.
And I was like, what the? Like, how long do you get between? Because it was very inaccurate between the times. Ryan, they murdered Drew. Like, I mean, at the end of this match, he just got killed by this guy.
I don't know if he murdered him, but taking 4 GTSs, and then losing the bracelet and everything.
He took 4 GTSs, lost the bracelet, and lost the match. Like, he didn't come out of this looking anything good.
2 things. So Punk said either this feud's done, and we were all wrong, thinking there'd be a third match. Or Punk said after on the post-game show, he's like, I'm done with Drew. He straight out said that. Drew and I are done. I'm done with Drew. It's over. I want to face Gunther. Okay, so he's either going with Gunther, or that's a hint into he thinks he's done with Drew, but now Drew's going to show up Monday or next Monday or whenever and absolutely leave him laying again like he did the one time when he put him in the garage door and smoked him.
Right.
And that sets up bad blood.
See, I don't know. It's too bad it's the back because it's named. I would leave Drew off television and have Drew screw Punk when he fights Gunther. Yes.
Could happen.
He comes back at that pay-per-view and gets Punk this time.
You screwed me out of the title twice.
There it is. Now I'm screwing you.
You know what? I like that better.
And now
they fight a Survivor Series or
Hell in a Cell or something. Yeah, I don't know. Or Survivor or something. But yeah,
I like that better.
That seems to make sense to me. That he's, I wouldn't be shocked if Drew is gone for a little bit or something. But I don't know. You never know with these because they, I don't know. I'm usually
they got all sorts of time. No, I like that better. I do think they're fighting again when I'm not quite sure. Mm-hmm. I don't think that is done yet.
I think there's more tread on the tires of Drew, if that makes sense. I wouldn't let Punk win this feud because Punk is Punk. It bothers me and you to say it, but he is almost flared. He's over
He's going to be light.
Yeah. I don't think a loss of this feud hurts him. McIntyre's got the tread. I think McIntyre was going to be there. More matches, more years, more WrestleManias.
I thought he would lose the feud in the end, but I thought it would be the third match he would lose. Very similar to what we're going to talk about next. The Terror Twins, which I don't like that name at all, against Dom and Liv. We can go through whatever you want to go through, but the finish, they just win. Terror Twins just win.
Why?
Much like Drew and Punk, the heat that they gave everybody at SummerSlam, this one especially, I cannot believe Priest and Rhea won this match.
Me too.
I don't think Rhea should have beaten Liv until it was time to win the title.
Yes.
And even if she squash her. I don't care.
Right.
I don't think she should have won. That heat should have stayed with them until the end. Now what? They've already beaten them. Obviously, they didn't win their titles, but I didn't like this at all. I disagreed. The other matches I don't disagree with. I disagree with this big time.
And a little over a year ago, Ryan, rolling into SummerSlam, tag matches, if he I don't know if WWE come out like it doesn't matter as much. Well, I was led to believe that Jey Uso pinning Roman Reigns in a tag match was setting me up for SummerSlam to make that a real deal.
Yes.
Well, now you're doing the same thing here. Rhea, what would it have hurt if she and again cheated? I'm not going to say she gets her out there and just obliviates freaking Rhea. She cheats or Dom, does something to Rhea. I don't holds her like whatever. Liv should have pinned Rhea. I don't think Damian can take the loss because I think Damian needs to do well for a while. But Liv should have pinned Rhea.
Yep.
The heat would stay on. Now you got to sell me a match. Why do I want to see these guys just kill them?
I've already seen her get killed.
And not only kill them, Ryan, to beat them all. You brought the whole dang Judgment Day down.
That's the other thing.
Them all, man.
The last minute of that match was the entire Judgment Day, and they cleaned house, then still won clean.
They whooped them all. This is
Nexus. Where do you go from here now?
That first night of Nexus, and after that, they beat him at the pay-per-view, and you're what do we do now?
You gave the climax already.
Yeah.
Now I don't care. I already knew Liv was going to lose to Rhea. Well, now I've already seen it. So what do I care?
And you didn't put it in my head that maybe she could beat her had she beat her tonight. Then maybe if Dom helped her win, the stipulation and the match is Dom is at ringside for this match.
Yep.
And I don't know.
Yeah, major miss. Major miss. And you and I, we don't talk most of the time during these, but we knew because I was going to the Tiger game that we weren't going to talk till right now, the next day, 24 hours later. And we did talk, and we both said the same thing to each other at the same time about this match. We both said, I can't believe Priest and Rhea won this match.
It's a throwaway, Ryan.
It's a joke. No, it's a major miss. It's a major miss.
Yeah,
it just took all the heat off of this angle. It's a major miss.
It certainly did.
Final match. It's the main event. The kind of hometown kid, Gunther, world heavyweight champion, taking on the 14-time champion, Randall Cornelius Orton III. Pretty good match. Hard hitting as you always would expect. Orton is kind of contrast to Styles. He's the smooth guy, maybe one of the best workers of all time against the live rounds guy, the more strong style guy in Gunther. I thought it worked. I thought it was good. The way it ends, Orton has Gunther outside, belly to backs him through the announce table. They get back in the ring. Somehow Gunther gets a sleeper / chokehold on him, and he's rolling. Orton kicks out of it. Okay, he's okay. Gunther puts it right back on. They do that a couple of times before finally Gunther puts Orton to sleep. Clean as a whistle, clean as day, and they put the new guy over in this match. I didn't expect that finish. Obviously, I thought Gunther was going to win, but that finish and Orton letting himself get put out, that's big for Gunther, man. That's big for Gunther going forward, Nick.
Orton doesn't have the greatest track record in PLEs recently, man. He's been losing a lot of singles matches from what I've heard.
He's our age, and it's that time.
It is. It's time to go. I thought some things took a little too long. The power bombing was a little bit awkward after a minute, like with the arm. But yeah, it's a good. Gunther doesn't have per se bad matches, but again, Ryan, it's my issue.
A lot of the same.
It's the same. I mean, for people that criticized a certain brother that seem to have the same match over and over again, maybe this match takes 20 more minutes, but it's the same match over. I mean, it's just a lot of chops, high moves. Like when people talk about how good Michaels and Brett and people like that were, it's because they can work with all different kinds of guys and have all different kinds of matches.
Yep.
Gunther is very good at working. He doesn't, he's not a botch or anything like that, but it is the same match that we're watching constantly.
Yeah, he's just smoking guys, live rounds.
I mean, and just a little weird for me. I don't know. I get a little irked because I know you critique the Warrior and whatever you want. The Warrior does this and has the back, but the Warrior had the same matches too. But again, if it's the same match and it only goes 5 minutes versus 25 minutes, it's still the same match. It's
a good point. Yeah,
but
here's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect the finish, and I don't know.
Really,
it's weird now. You're kind of in Wally world with these foreign pay-per-views. Totally clean finish. Gunther's celebrating, and he's at home and everything. Orton gets up, and they don't cut away. Orton gets up, and I don't know about the left-handed or whatever it was, but they handshake. And Gunther was the first one to offer the hand. And they shake hands, and he puts him over in the middle of the ring, which I'm like, was that supposed to be on TV, or was that just supposed to be for the crowd?
When you were could you hear the audio?
I did not hear it, but I read what he said.
Well, no, the announcers were saying, Gunther doesn't do this. Gunther, like this, we don't see. He respects you, beats you, whatever. But when he's done, like this is a first. They were really putting this over. I do think it was planned.
I was going to say that as well, but I thought you meant from Orton, which he said, "You're the effing man" to him. If you could read lips, I didn't know if you could hear that or not. But he did that as they were shaking hands. So I'm like, wow, they're doing this on the air. Does this turn Gunther face? What does this do? Then, as you said, the last thing Cole said before they went off the air, quote, Gunther is the future. Gunther is the world heavyweight champion. And the feed cuts. So they're putting this dude over, dude. Big time. I thought the match was good. I had no problem with it. My biggest problem with the show was I didn't care as much this time as opposed to SummerSlam, even though SummerSlam, I knew what was going to happen there too. But it was storyline driven. So I was okay with it. Here, I was not as much okay with
Ryan,
it.
I don't know why. The Dominic match just left a sour taste in my mouth. I know I think me and you like him more than most people. You love him more than me, but I like him. And I think that you keep making this freaking kid lose. The boos are going to, because he has real heat. People want to see him get beat up. I don't think
you don't think
so?
I think it's the exact opposite, actually.
Because
it's part of the show to boo him. I don't think they hate him.
It may be, but I think talk to my students. They hate him. The ones that watch.
All right. Well, you talk to more kids
Ryan,
than I do.
My kid on Friday, before I left school on Friday, I jokingly, so stupidly said, I was cheering for Dom. He's like, who you want? I want Dom. I don't want Ray. He had a deadbeat dad. This kid looked at me like I must have kicked his dog.
That's a different world. Yeah.
He was like, you don't like Rey Mysterio? And I'm like, and the heat is off of Ray still too, Dom. I mean, these kids hate him. They love Ray. They love Ray, and they still have a hatred just for Dom. I don't know what, and I see over all the stars. I'll talk to him. Roman is loved. They got some kids that like Cody. Got some kids that are like on your side with Cody. Universally, no one likes Dom. They freaking hate this kid. Like they hate, which is why I think they need to get gold on this guy, or something. But I don't know.
They put that NXT title on him, but yeah.
And the problem is the two other titles can't move right now.
Right.
You can't take IC off Breaker, and you can't take the United States title off Knight right now. So I just feel bad for him. I like Dom. I think he's just small. Like that's my only thing. His arms are, he can't hold the world title.
Well, nobody's expected him to go out and beat, and that's not he's maybe better, but he's dangerous Danny Davis. He's just a pest. He's there. Somehow he keeps winning. He's just that guy that won't go away. That that bug that you keep trying to swat off you and you can't.
And Ryan, go back and if you watch, I mean, people remember Davis as the job guy, and he was, no doubt. But dude, he was over when he first turned and screwed those people, the Bulldogs out of the titles. Like the fans were, I'm still one that firmly believes he should have beat Tito Santana in a singles match at WrestleMania 3 with the Bulldogs facing the Hearts in a tag match. And I think that would have just upped the extravaganza of the card with a cheat, But again, do you push him forever? No, you don't.
No, you can't go forever. We saw that later with Nick Patrick, and
but I just like Dom, though, man.
But I do too. I think he's great, but I do think the people in the crowd, maybe not all the kids, going back to how we initially got on this. I think the people in the crowd, it's just what you do. You boo Dom. You don't let him talk. You don't let him. As soon as he grabs the mic, no, you boo as loud as you can. I don't think they really hate this guy. Although there probably is some that do, as you said.
But that's a guess with everything now, from Cody Rhodes to Seth Rollins to Shinsuke Nakamura to any of these guys.
They're just singing your song.
I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't know.
Do we really like them, or are we singing?
I don't know, because I do like two of those three. But you know, it just I don't know if everybody else. It's very hidden today because of how interactive the entrances are. You know,
it's a different world.
It certainly is.
It is so, especially going back to 40 years to the 80s. You don't know, because everybody likes different stuff. Everybody's into different. I mean, just compare Monday and Friday to Wednesday. You see arguments all the time online. Yeah. Well, wrestling should be this. No, it should be this. No, I think there's a lot for everybody, is what it tells you. There's a lot for everybody. And I do think WWE does a good job giving you that variety show. No, it's not Saturday Night Live or anything, but
they do.
It's a variety. They give you a little bit of everything. And that's why I think they're number one right now. And as you said, yeah, this is that's definitely something different right now with Dominic compared to like a Gunther. Let's wrap this up, Nick. They did a post-game show again. Cody did the post-game show because Triple H had to get back because his daughter was going to college. So he took off right away. So Cody was the guy sitting up there saying, I would like to tell the media that this was the highest grossing arena show of all time. We have done that 3 times now this year. Now you got some people out there saying, well, that just means you're charging more for tickets. Well, that's true. That's the way of the world nowadays. The milkman is probably saying the same thing because a gallon of milk is $6. So it's our best year we've ever had. Well, you know. Also, their 55th sellout of the year, which is crazy to think about. You know, we thought they peaked a couple of years ago, and man, they're still selling out. They're still doing well. Let's just your cap on the night, Nick. Then going forward, we haven't had a bad blood pay-per-view in a long time. We assume it's going to be Hell in a Cell, but we don't know that for sure. Moving forward, what do you got here?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we'll probably get one more Punk McIntyre at that one, although I wish it would wait. And I wish Punk would.
It could be Survivor Series too.
You know, I don't know.
By the end of the year, we're getting another one.
You know, the other ones, I'm not. I assume we're getting another Cody Kevin Owens. I assume that feud is not done
somehow.
Yet.
I think so too. Because who else? Who else is he going to fight?
The other ones, it's kind of. I don't want to see Rhea and Dom now. And that I'm just like, you kind of ruined it for me there. I'm interested what Gunther does now, because you're going to have to get him another challenger, and especially turning him face. Maybe I'm not seeing it right. You don't have a ton of strong heels, man.
Could we, Nick, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Could we get a Gunther, Punk, Drew triple threat or something? Could we get that?
You think, never say never, right? But I think that's, again, going to drag out, because then you're going to have another final match. I don't think 4 times fighting with these two guys is a good idea.
Gotcha.
3 is good, man. Like 3 matches is good.
It's normal, yeah. One guy wins 1, the other guy wins 2.
You know, I'm never going to say never, but yeah, I don't know what Gunther does right now. I don't, also Cody after Kevin Owens, you know, because we know Solo's not defeating. When you look, I'm looking at guys who could beat these two.
Solo has challenged Cody, yeah.
I just don't see it. Who on the card's beating these two right now? The guy I see is Roman, either one of them. You know, like I mean, it just. But other than Roman, I don't know.
Roman's got other business to take care of first.
He certainly does. And Roman, to be honest, rolling into WrestleMania, Roman does not need a title. Roman versus The Rock, it sells itself. You don't need a belt on that
We've been talking about it for 5 years.
Yeah, you can put the belt on the other guys and have it. But yeah, it's kind of seeming like a downtime. And like you had said, where do we go from here, Ryan? Like, what are we doing now? How do you, if you're going to give us Liv and Dom and this whole thing, How do you heat that thing back up between the Terror Treat 2.0 or whatever they are? And
I don't know that it needs heating up, but normally, when the good guys win, that's the end.
yeah, it's the end. It's over.
So
That's what I'm
they
saying.
must be able to. Hopefully, they have something else up their sleeve that pisses off Rhea and Priest, like how they got this hot to begin with. Like maybe they do something outside of the ring that pisses them off even more. But like you say, once the good guys win, kind of takes the rub off everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know either, dude. I'm totally confused on what they're going to do. I really have no idea. It's going to be interesting, but I do expect another Punk Drew match still somehow. I do too. But again, the good guy won. I was shocked by it. So it made me intrigued, though. If that's what they're going for, they got me there, because now I'm like, well, now I don't know. All right, let me watch again Monday, which, okay, boom, gotcha. So
me and you are behind McIntyre. So I'm hoping McIntyre gets one back on him.
I think he's been as good as
he's ever
anybody in 2 years. I think he's been the best guy on the show for a while, outside of Roman, who's not been around.
Right.
I think he's been the best character that they've had. He's doing incredible.
I agree.
Anything else, Nick, before we wrap this sucker up? Another pay-per-view in the books as we now move into September.
Jeez, well, time flies. Well, let's just hope it heats up. I assume we're going Civil War at Survivor Series, right?
I hope so. We got plenty of time before we get there. And yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. You're talking Bloodline, OG against the new Bloodline.
2.0 or whatever they're calling it.
2.0 Bloodline. We'll see what that happens. We got a long way to go before that. We also have a ton of other job guy stuff coming. We normally do like on the 5-year anniversaries, 25th, 20th, 30th anniversary. We're going with the classic 28th anniversary of the War Games. 1996, fake Sting joins the NWO. Then the real Sting comes down. That sets off the Crow Sting for the next 28 years. We have already recorded and are working on the package of the War Games review, Fall Brawl 1996, one of Nick and I's favorite pay-per-views of all time. That will be dropping here this week, so I hope you can check that out. That's classic job guys, run it back. Nick, I know that's one of your favorites. More great stuff.
Top 5
and we are going to pump out so much stuff this fall, guys. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, Ryan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Please tell your friends if you could share it. That'd be great. Thanks for watching all the way through. And until next time, job guys out.
You smell something, it's us, because we're the stuff.